What's up, everybody? It's your boy Ryan, and this is the biggest nootropics channel on the web. Check us out on the web, livecortex.com. Go to the footer, search for any nootropic compound you want, and it'll render about 600 or so videos as blog posts on that particular topic on our website. Like us on Facebook, please. Facebook.com/cortex stacks. Couple powerful products support this broadcast. Here they are.
Elite level nootropic products.
All right, number one, we have a pre-made nootropic stack. It is called Cortex. Look, put simply, Cortex was made for entrepreneurs. Basically because it induces focus, motivation, verbal fluency, great mood benefits, and productive drive, and a lot of mental energy. But it's like, if you're not an entrepreneur, but you want all of those things, you can benefit from Cortex too. I mean, look, Cortex is an exceptionally strong stack. We just get the feedback from folks, repeat orders from folks, used all around the world. Strong effing stack. Buy a bottle of Cortex at livecortex.com. If you want to save some money, just use the coupon code 5, F-I-V-E, and it'll take a bottle to $28. livecortex.com. If you need my help personally on anything related to nootropics, one of our most popular services, well, the most popular service we have, is the Nootropics Consulting Service. It's a 40-minute call with me, 15 additional email correspondences, which is basically custom stack formulation from me. Get that at livecortex.com. If you're new to nootropics, two places you have to start to stop treading water. Just buy Smarter, Better, Faster. If you're new, you got to buy that book. Start there to be the best investment you ever made. Digital downloadable book that teaches you everything. Or you could buy the Nootropics Starter Pack, which actually gets you Smarter, Better, Faster, plus a bottle of our stack Cortex. That's why it's called the Starter Pack. It's like where you start with nootropics. And if Ron, my brother, and who's part of the company, calls you with specials, he's basically calling customers that have bought Cortex and bought other products and offering them special pricing that we're not going to offer here. So if he calls you and you love the supplement, or you love some of our stuff, or been thinking about getting one of our guides, take his pricing, take whatever he gives you, and be a nootropics god that after. And if you want Ron to call you with special pricing, email Ron at livecortex.com with your name and number, and he will. Okay, so I want to touch base on the idea of this. I can't really just summarize it into a phrase, so I'll just say this. Typically, we suggest that what people do, what I found seems to work the best for like 90% of people, then we'll talk about the other 10% here in a bit, is to establish over the course of like 6 months, 5 to 10 nootropic stacks that work really well for them and that they can take on a sort of a schedule. So if they've got 5 stacks and then they have another 5 stacks, basically one of the best ways is to just go week by week. So week 1, all 5 days of that week, take 5 of the stacks that work really well, that you've done the experimentation to figure out work well. On week 2, take the next 5 stacks that you've done the experimentation to recognize really work well for your brain and what you need at the time. And then kind of just rinse and repeat the cycle. And sometime in that period, you should take like, well, a 6-month period, probably 3 to 4 weeks where you don't take anything. That's the most ideal thing. And if you can't get yourself to do that because of a lot of work demand, then just cycle off on the weekends, and I think you should be fine. The reason that we suggest that, and the reason that I found it works the best for people, is because doing that slows or basically diminishes the capacity for them to have tolerance or side effects, right? So that's basically the protocol for taking nootropics sustainably, because they're really good and we love the allure of them and they feel really awesome. And when you get to that level of brain performance and verbal fluency, you never want to go back. Trust me. That's kind of just how it is. But there are some people for whom, at the time, 2 stacks instead of 10 work well over the course of 6 months. And I want to talk about those people, but I want to give you the caveat of engaging in that strategy, okay? So let me just break down an example. Say there's a person, this is that other 10%, by the way, that responds really well to 150 milligrams of modafinil. And it doesn't give them a tolerance, and it doesn't give them side effects, even if they're taking it pretty consistently for months. The other stack they respond really well to is a gram of aniracetam, a gram of oxiracetam, and 200 milligrams of alpha GPC. That's another stack that they respond really, really well to, that if they take it pretty consistently, they don't have tolerance and or side effects. To those people, I get questions from those people in consulting calls, really in follow-up emails from consulting calls, or just random other people that weren't consulting clients of Cortex Labs. And they say, Ryan, you suggest having 5 to 10 stacks over 6 months, or 8 stacks over the course of 3 months or something. But I only have 2 that I really found work really well. And I haven't done a whole lot of experimentation to get 10 stacks, but I know these 2 stacks work. And right now they're sustainable. Right now I don't have side effects. Right now I don't have tolerance. And right now these stacks work super well and get my brain turned on. What should I do? My answer to that question is this. If you've got 2 stacks and aren't cycling between 10 over the course of 6 months, but you've just got 2, keep taking those 2 stacks. Keep taking those 2 stacks. So you can not follow like my advice of having 10 stacks over the course of 6 months and just have 2 stacks over the course of 6 months. And largely, if you're responding well to them still after like month 2, then you probably have a longer runway than a lot of other people before you reach tolerance and side effects. Some people have longer runways, and that is based on their neurochemistry, their age. It's extremes. People that are really old, 60 plus, they tend to be able to do that because their brains need more of it. Interestingly enough, people that are really young, between 20 and 23, can do the same thing. Their brains are agile, they need all the acetylcholine upgrades and need all that stimulation, and they don't run into tolerance or side effects. It's when you get in the middle, like you're 42 or 38, that you kind of need to cycle between a bunch of stuff because, tolerance and side effects come quicker. To those people that have found 2 stacks that work really well for them and they just don't want to do the rest of the experimentation and they want to take those stacks, totally fine, but here's the caveat. To establish 10 stacks that work for you, there's a process, and we've talked about that process before. And that process is taking 3 to 7 nootropic ingredients in particular quantities that you start off with, seeing how it affects you, writing it down. If you realize a dose on one thing or another needs to change because you're not getting the right effect or it's overstimulating with their side effects, take one of the doses on something down. If you realize that's not where you want to be, take another dose of something down. Keep that adjustment process until you take that stack, really those 3 to 7 ingredients, and you refine it so well that now you can take it from this experimentation model to the sustainably taking model, at least for 6 months. Now you have, boom, 1 stack that you can take on a schedule. Ideally, to get 10, you do that same process where you run through 1 stack in different ingredient quantities to find the perfect doses that make sense for you. Then you take them out of the experimentation model and you put them in the sustainably taking model, right? And you just rinse and repeat until you have 10 of those stacked, right? Pretty simple stuff. The caveat with only having 2 stacks in this particular situation, them being sustainable at least for now, is that likely in the 6-month period and then extending it out definitely in the year period, you will have to revisit the experimentation model more times. So the question is, do you want to do the experimentation model where you find a bunch of stacks that work and you hammer them down and nail them down and know that they're going to affect you in the beginning? Do you want to take all that time in the beginning? Or do you want to periodically have to revisit the experimentation model, go through the experimentation protocol process, and then extract those stacks and put them in your daily schedule? And not necessarily one is better than the other, but if you are only taking 2 stacks and you're trying to make those last as long as possible, you will run into, over the course of a year, having to go to the experimentation model again, essentially back to the drawing board again. The good part about, so I just want that to be known. It's not a terrible thing that you don't have 10 stacks, but you're gonna have to experiment more to find stacks that work, pull them out, put them in your schedule. The good thing about that process is you kind of end up like me. Like if you do it for 10 years or if you do it for a long time. But even if you do it for a year, you're gonna end up like me to an extent, which is where you know exactly what doses of what things are gonna affect you really well. And you have a lot of experimentation experience. And it's the experience in changing doses, being like, okay, this is how this affects me. Let's take the CDP choline down 20 milligrams, try again. Let's take the uridine down 80 milligrams, try again. Let's take the modafinil up 75 milligrams, try again. You have the experience of running through that, and that actually makes you more seasoned to be really good at surgically using nootropics for the long term, sustainably, and to get you the best effects that you want to get. Okay, so it's not necessarily bad to have just 2 stacks and not 10. You'll just have to experiment more to find things that really work and pull them out, and the experimentation process is fine. It just is kind of lengthy. So you have to decide, am I doing that in the beginning of experimenting with nootropics? Am I gonna take the time to nail down 10 stacks that work for me, which will take longer, will require a lot more of your time, and require a lot more of your brain, and will be sort of a thing for right now that you'll have to put effort and energy to, or are you going to wait and prolong that until you run into side effects and tolerance with your current stacks? Either way is fine, just understand the caveats, okay? Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Hope that makes sense. Remember, Cortex stack right now, $28 if you use the coupon code 5, F-I-V-E. If you want a stack that makes you as verbally fluent as I am, sometimes I just have to put it in plain terms. Buy the Cortex stack and you'll be as verbally fluent as I am if you respond well to it. Most people do. But also if you want really good mood benefits, like dopamine activity going on and you're just like feeling super good, buy the Cortex stack. If you want a lot of mental energy, focus, motivation, buy the Cortex stack. Get that at livecortex.com, power for pre-made stack. If you need my help on any of this kind of stuff, particularly custom stack formulation, we offer that. It's in the Nootropics consult. It's custom stack formulation for people. I work with you to find stacks that are custom tailored to you that you can get on the schedule with so you don't have to worry about, kind of any of this stuff. Buy that at livecortex.com. If you're new to Nootropics, 2 products. You can either buy Smarter, Better, Faster, which teaches you everything you need to know about nootropics. You have to start there if you're new. Digital downloadable book, or the Nootropics Starter Pack, which gets you Smarter, Better, Faster, plus a bottle of our Stack Cortex as a package deal. And if Ron, my brother, who's part of the company, calls you with special pricing, because he's calling folks with special pricing that we don't offer here, take whatever deal he's got, because that pricing will not be available anywhere in the world except for if Ron calls you. And if you're a Cortex advocate and you like getting our products and it's time to re-up, email Ron at livecortex.com with your name and your number, and Ron will call you with the special pricing. Okay, thanks so much for watching, everybody. We'll talk to you next time.
My name is Ryan Michael Ballo. For 6 years, my sole mission has been to improve the performance of my brain. This is why I created Cortex. My mission was to build a nootropic stack that gave me extreme focus, powerful motivation, and a heightened cognitive state. And after years of experimentation and a comprehensive beta testing protocol, and putting together the most powerful nootropic compounds on the planet, I found what I was looking for.